I organised everything into a single folder. Counterproposal number 1, dated August 12th. Legal review approval, August 15th. Submitted to director, August 16th. Counterproposal number 2, dated September 3rd. Legal review approval, September 7th. Submitted to director, September 9th. Counterproposal number 3, dated October 1st. Legal review approval, October 5th. Submitted to director, October 7th. Each one had my director's internal approval. Looks good. I'll handle the external communication. That was his response every time. I'd assumed he was managing the negotiation strategy, timing the submissions, building leverage. I'd been wrong. I checked the acquiring company's final withdrawal letter, dated October 28th. After weeks without substantive response to our initial terms, we must conclude that your organisation is not seriously committed to this transaction. Weeks without response. My last submission to my director was October 7th, 3 weeks before they withdrew. I sat very still. Then I scheduled the call with the CEO. The call was set for the next day. I spent the evening preparing, not defensively, factually. Timeline, submissions, approvals, communications, all documented, all time-stamped, all verifiable. I didn't sleep well, not from anxiety, from awareness. My director had blocked every counterproposal, then blamed me when the deal failed. The question was why. The CEO joined the video call at 9 a.m. sharp. Patricia Chen, founder and CEO, based in our San Diego headquarters. I'd met her twice, both times briefly. "Melissa," she said, "thank you for making time. I need to understand what happened with the acquisition." "Of course," I said. "Richard tells me you went silent after the initial terms were presented, that you didn't engage with the counterproposal process." Richard, my director. "That's not accurate," I said. She waited. "I drafted 3 separate counterproposals, all reviewed by legal, all submitted to Richard for external transmission." "When?" "August, September, and October." "Do you have documentation?" "Yes." "Send it to me now." I shared my screen, showed her the folder. She reviewed each submission, read the timestamps, checked the legal approvals. "These were all sent to Richard?" "Yes." "And he approved them internally?" "Yes. He said he'd handle the external communication." "Did you follow up?" "Multiple times. He told me to focus on due diligence while he managed the negotiation strategy." She was quiet for a moment. "Why didn't you escalate this sooner?" "I didn't know there was a problem until yesterday." "You didn't know the deal had collapsed?" "I knew it had failed. I didn't know I was being blamed for it until I received your email." She looked at me carefully. "Send me everything, all drafts, all approvals, all communications with Richard. I'll review and get back to you." "Understood." The call ended. I sent the files immediately. Then I waited. 2 days passed. I continued working, reviewed contracts, updated databases, responded to emails. My director didn't contact me. I didn't contact him. On the 3rd day, I received a calendar invitation. Subject: Merger Postmortem Review. Attendees: CEO, CFO, General Counsel, my director, me. Time: tomorrow, 10 a.m. I accepted. Prepared nothing new. I'd already provided everything. The meeting started exactly on time. 5 faces on screen, mine included. The CEO spoke first. "Thank you all for joining. We're here to understand why the merger failed and determine next steps. She looked at my director. Richard, you told the board that Melissa's lack of responsiveness caused the acquisition team to withdraw. Can you walk us through that assessment? My director looked composed, confident. Melissa was assigned to handle the term negotiations. After the initial proposal, she went silent, didn't respond to their terms, didn't engage. They lost confidence and walked away. Did you communicate with the acquiring company during this period? The CEO asked. I provided high-level updates, but the detailed negotiations were Melissa's responsibility. Did Melissa submit any counterproposals to you? He hesitated, just slightly. She drafted some ideas, nothing formal. Nothing formal? The CEO asked. Internal discussion documents, not polished enough for external submission. The CEO turned to the General Counsel. David, did your team review any merger-related documents from Melissa during August through October? The General Counsel checked his notes. Yes, 3 separate counterproposals, all received formal legal review and approval. My director's expression didn't change. Those weren't final, he said. The legal review memos indicate they were final and ready for external submission, the General Counsel said. I exercise judgment on timing and strategy, my director said. The CEO pulled up a document on her screen. This is counterproposal number 2, dated September 3rd, legal approval September 7th. You have an email here from September 9th saying, "Looks good, I'll handle the external communication." What external communication occurred? I was managing the overall negotiation approach. That's not what I asked. Silence. Did you send this counterproposal to the acquiring company? The CEO asked. The timing wasn't right. Did you send any of Melissa's 3 counterproposals? My director shifted slightly. I determined they needed more refinement. Did you tell Melissa that? I provided guidance on strategy. Did you tell her the proposals weren't being sent? I told her I was handling external communication. The CEO closed her laptop. So you approved 3 formal counterproposals, told Melissa you'd handle transmission, never sent them, never told her you weren't sending them, and then blamed her when the deal collapsed because we appeared unresponsive. It wasn't a question. My director started to respond. The CEO raised a hand. I've also reviewed the acquiring company's withdrawal letter. They cite lack of substantive response, not rejection, not disagreement, silence. She looked at me. Melissa, did you have direct contact with the acquiring company's negotiation team? No, Richard managed all external communication per his instruction. Did you know your counterproposals weren't being sent? No, not until I reviewed the timeline after receiving your email. The CEO turned to the CFO. What was the projected value of this acquisition? 42 million in immediate value, estimated 70 to 90 million over 3 years. And we lost it because counterproposals weren't transmitted. The CFO said nothing. The CEO looked at my director. Richard, I'm putting you on administrative leave pending a full investigation. David will lead it. My director's composure cracked slightly. This is an overreaction. David, please begin the investigation immediately. I want a complete review of all merger communications, Richard's decision-making process, and whether this pattern exists in other deals. The General Counsel nodded. The meeting ended. I logged off, sat in my home office, stared at the wall. The investigation took 3 weeks. During that time, my director remained on leave. I reported directly to the CFO temporarily, continued my normal work, didn't discuss the situation with anyone. The General Counsel's team interviewed me twice, detailed questions, timeline verification, document review. I provided everything they requested, stayed factual, stayed calm. On November 18th, I received an email from the General Counsel. Melissa, the investigation has concluded. I'd like to schedule a call to discuss the findings and next steps. We met that afternoon.
The investigation confirmed your account, he said. Richard approved your counterproposals internally, but never transmitted them externally. He also failed to inform you of this decision or provide alternative direction.
Why?
I asked. We're still determining that, but we found a pattern. 3 other deals over the past 2 years where similar communication breakdowns occurred under Richard's oversight.
What happens now?
Richard's employment has been terminated. We're reviewing our merger communication protocols to prevent this from happening again.
He paused.
I also need to discuss your situation.
I waited.
Your contract has a clause about material changes to reporting structure. With Richard's departure, you'd report to the CFO permanently. We want to offer you that transition, but there's a complication.
What complication?
Richard is threatening legal action. He claims he was scapegoated. He's alleging that you deliberately withheld information from him and are now shifting blame.
I went very still.
That's false. We know, but his attorney has indicated they may pursue claims that could create discovery obligations. Your emails, your work product, potentially depositions. I have nothing to hide. I understand. But litigation is disruptive, expensive, time-consuming.
What are you suggesting?
We'd like to offer you a settlement package. Leave on good terms. We provide separation payment, a strong reference, and protection from any claims Richard might make.
How much?
6 months' salary, plus legal fee coverage if Richard names you in any action.
I thought about it. What's the alternative?
You stay, report to the CFO, continue your work, but potentially get dragged into litigation about the merger.
Do you believe Richard's claims?
No. The investigation cleared you completely.
Then why settle with me?
To protect both of you from the disruption.
I understood. They wanted this buried. Clean exit for Richard, clean exit for me. No extended legal battle. I need to think about it, I said.
Of course. We'd need a decision by end of week.
I spent 2 days considering. I liked my job. Good salary, interesting work, flexibility of remote arrangement. But the merger situation had revealed something. I'd followed procedure perfectly, done everything right, and still ended up blamed when someone else failed. The settlement would give me 6 months cushion, time to find something better, and it would end the situation cleanly. No depositions, no drama, no extended conflict. I called the General Counsel on November 20th. I'll accept the settlement, I said.
I think that's wise. I'll have the documents prepared.
One condition.
What's that?
The reference letter needs to explicitly state that I was cleared by the internal investigation, not just that I left on good terms.
We can do that.
And the settlement can't include language preventing me from responding to discovery if I'm subpoenaed in Richard's case.
Agreed. We'll draft accordingly.
The settlement documents arrived November 23rd. I reviewed them with an attorney I hired independently. She found them fair, no hidden terms, clear language. I signed. My last day was November 30th.
I worked through my final week normally, transitioned my active projects, documented procedures, organised files. The CFO sent a team-wide email. Melissa Grant is leaving the company to pursue other opportunities. Please join me in thanking her for her contributions to our contract management and merger support efforts. Professional, vague, no mention of the investigation, no mention of Richard, just a standard departure announcement. My final paycheck included the 6-month severance, plus accrued vacation, plus a year-end bonus I hadn't expected. The reference letter arrived separately. Melissa Grant served as Senior Contract Analyst from 2021 to 2024. During her tenure, she demonstrated exceptional attention to detail, strong analytical capabilities, and thorough documentation practices. Ms. Grant was involved in the due diligence and negotiation support for a significant merger transaction in 2024. Following the conclusion of that transaction, our company conducted an internal investigation into merger communication protocols. Ms. Grant was fully cleared of any performance concerns, and her work was found to meet all professional standards. She departed on excellent terms to pursue new opportunities. We recommend her without reservation for positions requiring contract analysis, merger support, or corporate development work. Signed by the CEO. That letter was worth more than the settlement. I took December off. Holidays, rest, planning. In January, I started interviewing. I was selective, asked careful questions about communication protocols, reporting structures, escalation processes.
Found a company in Denver, smaller than my previous employer, better defined processes. Started in February, better title, better pay, better clarity about decision-making authority. Richard's threatened lawsuit never materialised. I heard through industry contacts that he settled with the company. Different terms, different outcome. I wasn't involved. Didn't care. The acquiring company that had withdrawn reached out to my former employer again. Different deal, different terms. I heard it closed successfully. Without me, without Richard, with better communication protocols. I think about that situation sometimes. How close I came to being blamed permanently. If I hadn't documented everything, if I hadn't kept the submissions time-stamped, if I hadn't had legal review records. Richard's version would have stood, and my career would have been damaged. The settlement was the right choice, not because I was afraid of litigation, because fighting would have taken months, consumed energy, created stress, delayed moving forward. The 6 months' pay gave me freedom to choose carefully. That freedom mattered more than being right. My current role is better, clearer authority, direct communication with external partners, no intermediaries blocking my work. When I draft proposals, I send them myself. When I manage negotiations, I control the timeline. The difference is remarkable. I still document everything, not because I expect problems, because it's professional. Every email, every approval, every submission, time-stamped, saved, organised. If someone ever questions my work again, I'll have answers. People ask sometimes why I left my previous company. I keep it simple. Better opportunity came along. If they push, I mention the merger work. I supported a significant acquisition project. After it concluded, I was ready for new challenges. True enough. No need to mention the investigation, the blocked proposals, the settlement. Those details don't serve anyone. The reference letter is in a safe place. I've used it twice, once for the Denver job, once for a consulting opportunity. Both times, the explicit mention of the investigation and clearance mattered. It showed I'd been tested under difficult circumstances and cleared. That's valuable. I learned something important. Following procedure isn't enough. You need documentation that proves you followed it. And you need to understand when your work is being blocked. I trusted my director to transmit my proposals. That trust was misplaced. Now I verify. Politely, professionally, but about. The 6-month severance lasted through my job search, plus some. I invested the remainder. It's still growing. That money represents more than compensation. It represents the value of knowing when to walk away. My former CEO reached out once after I left. Professional email, asking how I was settling in. I responded politely, thanked her for the reference, mentioned the new role. She replied with congratulations. That was the last communication. No hard feelings, just a closed chapter. I wonder sometimes what would have happened if I'd stayed, fought the potential litigation, remained to prove myself. Maybe I'd have been fine. Maybe the CFO would have been a good manager, but I would have spent months waiting for Richard's case to resolve, looking over my shoulder, wondering when the next accusation would come. The settlement bought certainty. That was worth the exit. The merger taught me about organisational dynamics, information flow, power structures, decision bottlenecks. I'd assumed my director was managing strategy. He was managing nothing, just blocking work and taking credit elsewhere. That pattern exists in every company. Now you watch for it and document around it. My current manager is different, transparent, accountable. When I submit work, she reviews it promptly and provides clear direction. If she disagrees, she explains why. If she approves, it moves forward immediately. No games, no ambiguity. It's refreshing. I don't regret the 3 years at my previous company. I learned valuable skills, built my expertise, developed professional judgment. The merger situation was unfortunate, but it taught me resilience and the importance of documentation. Those questions transferred. The settling agreement included standard confidentiality terms. I can't discuss the internal investigation, can't discuss Richard's performance, can't discuss the specific settling terms. That's fine. I don't need to. The facts speak clearly enough to anyone who matters. My worth solid. The expertise cleared me. I left on good terms. Everything about is consulting. Richard's name appears occasionally in industry news. Different company now. Lower level role. I don't follow his career. Don't think about him. Our paths crossed. They diverged. His choices led him 6 career. Mine led me your. The reference letter remains my most valuable document from that experience. Not the settlement check, not the severance, the written acknowledgement that I did everything right. That's irreplaceable. I still work remotely, different city now, different home office setup, but the same discipline. Document, verify, communicate clearly. Those habits saved me once. They'll serve me always. The merger would have been good for my career if it had succeeded. Major transaction, significant value, complex negotiations. Instead, it became a cautionary tale about trust, about verification, about documentation. Not the career highlight I'd planned, but a better teacher. Sometimes I imagine what the acquiring company thought. They sent reasonable terms, waited for response, received silence, withdrew. They never knew counterproposals existed, never knew someone had drafted thoughtful modifications, never knew those modifications were blocked. Just saw silence and assumed disinterest. That's the cost of poor communication, not just failed deals. Lost opportunities no one knew existed. My documentation habits have become second nature. I don't think about them anymore, just automatic practice. Save confirmations, note timestamps, track submissions. It takes minimal effort and provides maximum protection. The settlement closed that chapter completely. No lingering obligations, no ongoing relationship, no future entanglements. Clean separation. That's how professional transitions should work. Documented, agreed, final. I've been at my current company 18 months now, building new relationships, managing new projects, creating new value. The merger is distant history, relevant only for the lessons it taught. Document your work. Trust the process, not just people. And know when walking away is winning.